All right, welcome back, guys. This is going to be one of the first episodes about this car project. Alexa, pause music. This is a 2016 Miata, my new project, and the goal is to change this into a drag car, street strip car. So I got it pulled apart here. I want to lengthen the wheelbase on this guy, probably about 8 inches for a little bit more straight line stability. First steps, first projects on this, I'm starting in the rear. I'm going to lengthen the wheelbase and I'm going to shift the subframe in the rear back by 2 inches. So the first step I've done here, I've got the subframe out. I cut these, made some measurements and cut these sheet metal parts on a laser, and the point is to align these holes and tack weld this. This is the same thickness as the factory sheet metal, and then I will go ahead and box all the bottom half in with thicker gauge and make this real nice and stout, so that way I will go from the factory mounting point to a new mounting point that's going to be 2 inches forward, so it shifts the whole subframe to the rear 2 inches. These will be gone. They're just to keep the alignment when I weld these, so they're perfectly straight. I don't have any alignment issues with those. And then I'll snip these away with a grinding wheel, and I'll just be left with my mounting tabs, and then the hardware or the metal below those gets welded for the new subframe mounting points. Okay, next step, I'll document more as I go, but I'm going from a 4x100 lug pattern to a 5x114. Got these 18 by 10.5 inch wheels. They're 5x114. They're made by Kansai. They're not too expensive. I sold a set of forged 3-piece wheels and decided to go with this little bit different style, a little cleaner look. These aren't nearly as expensive as the forged wheels. They're just a cast wheel, but that's all right. The reason I wanted to go to a 5x114 is more wheel size availability. You just can't really find the huge wheels, the wide wheels for these cars in 4x100. And I like those, so I'm machining an adapter. That adapter will slip over this, kind of like over the factory hub, kind of like not a donut, but a donut with the face covered. And I will pull the hub, weld the back side of the adapter to this hub here, and then I'll go ahead and machine the 5x114 holes. The reason being 5x114 puts the holes out here on the outside, so there's not enough meat on the factory hub, so that's why I'm making the adapter that's going to be a weld on, and that brings it out. I've measured it and done it in a CAD model, so I'll be able to use the factory NC brake rotors. The NC Miata, the previous generation, had a 5x114 brake rotor, so I went ahead and blueprinted a couple of those brake rotors. They're around here somewhere. This older generation 5x114 brake rotor, and I won't have to change calipers or anything like that. I'll have off-the-shelf availability of brake rotors, so when they wear out, I'll have plenty of brake rotor options, as well as big brake kits. I can still fit all that without any problems with finding parts or anything. I'll just buy bigger rotors for an NC Miata, the previous gen, instead of the ND. Shock towers are probably not going to move, despite the fact the rear subframe is going to move rear 2 inches. There's enough play in this shock tower, and it's kind of angled forward already, so I should be able to just shift it back, and it should work without having to shift the top. If I have to shift the top, I will. It's not too bad. There's really not that much going on in the trunk area. I could cut the whole perch and shift that back. It'd just be a lot of sheet metal cutting and rewelding. But for now, I think I'll try and fit it up without moving the shock tower rearward at the top just yet. I don't even think I'm gonna need different brake lines. The brake lines are probably long enough they're gonna reach. If not, I can get a set of longer braided lines. And then I'm gonna retain all the sensors, like the sway bar sensor and the ABS sensor from the rear hub will still go into the hub like factory. Coming back to the hubs, on these guys, when I weld that adapter on, it's gonna be welded on the back side and in the front side a little bit here. It comes out past this. This guy has a bearing in it, and it is not able to be disassembled, I believe. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna have to weld each side a small section, like a 1/2 inch or an inch at a time, and let this cool so I don't ruin the bearing seals or overheat that wheel bearing in there. And once I get around, you know, I'll get enough weld on there. And they're also gonna be captured. The adapter with the new studs, the studs will capture the whole assembly. So as this gets sandwiched by the wheel, the lug nuts, even if that weld failed, it couldn't come off because it's captured by those studs, the lug studs and the nuts. So no worries there. And then again, factory brake rotor mounting location. I don't need any adjustment there or the way I've designed it, which is going to be fun. It'll definitely give a lot more selection on wheels and availability of the larger wheel sizes rather than just having to be limited to whatever 4x100 stuff is out there for, you know, the Japanese cars. So those are the first steps. Got the car up in the air for now. It does run and drive, you know, before I pull it apart. It's just a factory car, you know, wreck repair. I got it for pretty cheap. And there's a guy that's been super helpful here in Texas. His name is Hugh, and he runs a shop called Ace Miata or Ace Collision Repair, and they do a ton with Miatas. So if you need any parts, he's super helpful. I would definitely reach out to him for parts and whole cars, everything you need. Super good all around guy, you know, helpful, knowledgeable. Been awesome to help with spare parts and things, and he's a big track enthusiast too, so he's been giving me opinions and things there. One more thing about the rear subframe I wanted to cover. The rear differential. This is a factory Mazda differential here. That is going to go away, and in place of it, we have a 2010 to 2015 Camaro differential. This is a limited slip LSD, not an open diff, so it'll put the power down and be a lot more robust. When I do that, the axles will have to be custom made. They're going to go from the spline count on the Camaro rear diff out to the Miata hub, so it'll be a custom axle. That's what Flying Miata ran when they did theirs. They have I found some pictures online of their rear subframe. I'm going to modify mine similarly, where it'll capture these two mounting points here, and then at the rear there, that third mounting point, and all this garbage will go, this rubber snout here. That'll be a little bit different. It'll be like a CV style joint probably. And with those wide wheels, the other thing is we're shifting the wheels back in the rear 2 inches, and also the wheel sticks out a good 2 inches. So we're also widening the track in the rear pretty good. And that's going to be a custom metal fender flare. I'm going to go ahead and try and keep something similar to the factory shape, so it's not too outlandish. It's just going to be a little bit wider and more muscular. So I'll have to probably roll some of that on an English wheel, maybe laser cut some of the lip on the outside to the shape I want. Trying to keep it as OEM plus looking as possible, not anything crazy wide body, nothing like SEMA cars that you see that are outlandish with all the vents and everything. It's just going to be very sleek and try and follow the factory lines as much as possible, just accentuate those. So that'll be kind of fun. In the front subframe is going to move forward, but I'll get back to that in a whole nother video. The engine will be replaced by this aluminum block V8 I have here, 5.3 built internals. It's going to be boosted, but that will stay towards the firewall. The front wheels and everything and the bodywork will move forward. So there will be a gap here that we're going to fill. But again, that'll be all covered in another video once I get the rear finished up. But that's going to give me some more room for all the mechanical goodies going into this car. So garage is a mess per usual, but it's getting better. Finally got the welders all organized in this corner and sealing up the workbench. Got a little table here. I'm gonna pull the top off that and put a metal top, make that my dedicated weld table. And got my cord management and hoses and stuff kind of pretty tidy here. Everything needs a good cleaning. But yeah, got a good start here. Just need to get a lot of this stuff in the back shed or up in the attic, and then go from there. But yeah, so that's my Miata project. 2016. The 4-cylinder engine and transmission is going to go. It's going to be a 5.3 LS with the Tremec Magnum F. The F body puts the shifter rearward, which places it better for the Miata. That'll be a 6-speed transmission as well. It'll use a little bit different hydraulic system for the clutch, different slave cylinder for the clutch, and probably new lines. And hopefully the electronics will get sorted out. I've been talking to Flying Miata a little. They're still going to help me with the electronics, even though they've discontinued most of their mechanical parts for the swap. That's fine because I can make my own. I'm going to be doing custom subframes and whatnot anyway, and the body work. So we'll just rely on them for the electronic side of it. And it's going to be a little unique. I've got the Holley Terminator is going to actually run the LS, but it will have a CAN output that's going to interface to the Miata ECU via a GEM ECU. So it's going to have technically 3 ECUs in it, which is kind of sucky, but it'll allow me to retain a lot of the factory Miata gauges and electronics and ABS and steering components, things like that. That may change depending on how the build progresses, but for now that's the plan. Definitely want to run something that can tune this for the power I want to make and get it all put to the ground. So the garage needs some help though, man. I got to get back to clearing out all this old Audi stuff. I made the shift from German cars to Japanese cars, and I'm quite happy so far. They're much cleaner and easier to work on, and do not give you as much stress. So yeah, night and day difference working on a more modern and better engineered, in my opinion, car. But we'll make this a road going beast if it kills me. So tune in for the next episode. I'll try and keep episodes coming once a month, I think, at this point, until I can maybe sooner, hopefully faster than that. But definitely going to be working on other projects in the garage to clean it up and get the clutter cleared out and get this car back on its tires through various phases of the build. So follow my channel, like, subscribe if you want to see more of the Turbo Miata drag build. I'm going to be doing some really neat stuff, including like some parts design and talking about the CNC machines that I've been cutting these on, showing some of the tools I'm using. I have another episode about the Ferro arm, which is under here. It's a high precision measurement tool that's been awesome in the build process so far, in digitizing all this into a CAD software. So go ahead and follow if that's your cup of tea. Thanks. Bye, guys.